like to remind all of our listeners that the opinions of individual shows or DJs do not necessarily reflect those of NBR Radio. Please keep in mind this is entertainment and intended for the listener with a sense of humor.
Portions of this program may not be suitable for those under the age of 18. Parental guidance is suggested.
The Beer30 Show with Danny and Joel, sponsored by Tee It Up for the Troops. Divots can be replaced, freedom cannot.
Alrighty. Beer30 is when you walk into a bar or a VFW, and in that 30 seconds, you can already tell.
That guy right there is drunk, that guy's an idiot, and that guy down there knows it all.
There are programs out there beyond the VA.
Many non-profit organizations. The Beer30 Show.
It's the Beer30 Show. Made by veterans.
It's for veterans.
Founder of Project Sanctuary, where military families come to thrive. And you listening to the Beer30 Show with Danny and Joel.
Where the love goes, where the love goes, where the love goes.
All right, we are back. Thank you for staying with us, everybody. We got a fantastic guest today. And before we get started, I just wanted to let John know that I really appreciate your service. I've read your story. We're gonna give it a point to where you are going to tell your story to our listeners, and I'm sure that they're going to get a little dusty in their eyes as well. I just wanted to tell you that not only are you my hero, dude, but I appreciate your service.
And thanks, man. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me.
So, We've got a lot of questions. We're going to get started. So tell us, can you please, about yourself and why the John Peck Fund was created?
All right. So basic gist is in 2005, I enlisted into the Marines as a basic infantry, 03. SOI, did all that, and became a mortarman. We were deployed to Iraq, Al-Anbar, and sometime, I think in August 2007, we were coming back from a day-long patrol, mounted on our words in vehicles, and I was in the lead vehicle, machine gunner position, and we rounded the corner. It was at night. Probably should have said that. It was at night. Rounded the corner, and our 7-ton rolled over pressure plate IED, and I came back down somehow, some way, and I'm not sure if I hit my head or if my Kevlar hit the 240, the machine gun, and my brain just kind of rattled inside. But I was conscious, but I don't remember anything. I was walking around and talking. But apparently what I've got is I was asking about my Zune. I guess it was the Microsoft's attempt at an iPod. I was asking about that, and I needed to go get that, and I didn't start remembering until about 2 weeks later. Almost all of my memories were completely erased. I still remember bits and pieces. Like my mom will ask me, hey, do you remember this when you were a kid, or this, or when we used to do this? And it's kind of like, no. At first, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know where I was, why I was in the desert, or anything like that. or anything. I didn't know my name, social security, date of birth, nothing.
Wow. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I wasn't hurt like that. I was hurt in another way, but I know exactly what you're talking about. You like get knocked out. You're like looking everywhere. You have no idea where you're at. You don't know the people around you. It's like amnesia, and it is. It's kind of scary. It's almost as scary as drinking yourself sober.
Yeah. So after about 2 years, I did about a lot of physical therapy, some driving rehab. I'd be retaught how to drive. While doing that therapy, I had to do my own therapy, which was relearning my job. So I grabbed as many books I could get, MCIs I could get my hands on, ring guidebooks and everything that I could get my hands on, mortars, everything. And to relearn my job, I was out of commission for 2 years. By the time I actually got off limited duty, my 4 years was almost up. So I re-enlisted, took about 6 months off. It was an incentive to go to the gym. And I got called back. I recalled back to my unit as a squad leader. And we were slated to go to Helmand Province, Afghanistan. And on May 24, 2010, we were conducting a patrol, and I was up front with the minesweeper, and we entered a compound, and of course I was the first one up there. As I walked, or where I swept, my guys would walk behind me, and I would go up to the doors of this compound, sweep as close as I could get, but their doors are made out of metal. So
Right.
Once I got up to that point, I couldn't go any further with the metal detector, and the guys would go into each individual room. I would go to their bathroom area, to their little 3-foot-high storage area. Everything was clear, and I was going to tell my sergeant, at the time I was a corporal, I was going to tell my sergeant, hey, I'm going to go hold security outside with some guys. Well, I went to go turn around and tell him that, took one step forward, and next thing I know, I'm being flung through the air. I didn't feel anything. This is my point of view. From what I remember is, I couldn't see distinct shapes. I had sand, a lot of sand in my eye. Thankfully, I had my sunglasses on and all that personal protective equipment and all that. But sunglasses don't really stand up to an IED. So I had a whole bunch of sand and dirt in my eyes. So I couldn't see shapes, but I could see about 3 guys working on me. And I remember saying, I don't want to die. Don't let me die in this hellhole. Please do not let me die. Next thing I know is I black out. I come back to, and I feel the rotor wash of a helicopter and feel weightless. And so I know I'm being carried. And again, I'm saying, I don't want to die here. I don't want to die here.
All right.
Next thing I know is I'm being placed into the helicopter. I see a single shape, and I'm putting together kind of like, hey, it's the medic. He says, hey, you're going to go to sleep for a little bit. I try to look back, and I try to tell my guys I'll be back in a few days. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up 2.5 months later in Bethesda, in Maryland. And I'm being told that I'm a quadruple amputee. My right leg was amputated just above the knee. My right arm was amputated just above the elbow. My left arm, there's so many issues with it. I was amputated just mid-forearm, I'm sorry. But thanks to a flesh-eating fungus that I got there, it ate my bicep. So I do not have a bicep. My elbow does not bend all the way. It's locked at it won't bend past 90 degrees. My left leg was amputated just above my knee, but again, thanks to the flesh-eating fungus, it ate it all the way up to the hip, which means on my left side, I'm a hip disarticulation, which means that I have no left nub, leg nub, and I sit on my pelvis bone on my left side constantly. My first layer, my abdominal muscle, was also ate by that wonderful same fungus. And there's a lot of other issues going on at that time. I had ammonia thanks to the trach, bed sores because I wasn't able, they couldn't turn me. The flesh-eating fungus was just destroying my body. I'm not sure if I was the first one to survive it in my blood or the first one to survive it in my abdominal. Pretty sure it was in my blood because me and Sergeant Major Mackey were only the other ones to survive it in our abdominal. So yeah, a lot of other issues, a lot of emotional stuff going on at that time too. Found out my ex was doing some things and said some things, and at one point in my life, I was told something by her that made me go into what I call my dark spot, where I seriously contemplated killing myself. And you're kind of thinking, well, how's a quad amputee without arms and legs going to do that? You know, I had it figured out. I was going to throw myself down a flight of stairs when I got my wheelchair, and I came close to it, but thankfully some small events happened in my life. One of it was seeing a double amputee outside. You know, I thought he was by himself, and then a little girl ran up and grabbed his hand, and his wife came up, and you know, that kind of changed me around. So I started getting stronger and stronger, and then I started looking into things. And one of the things I looked into was an arm transplant, and I kind of put it on hold for a little bit. But it was in 2013. I started doing research. I actually looked up a guy that got a double leg transplant in Spain. Come to find out, he had to get his legs re-amputated because he got cancer. But I did a search on Google for double leg transplant, and all of a sudden this hospital in Boston comes up, and Brigham and Women's Hospital came up, and I just blow up their phone. I blow up their phones. I blow up their email. I'm sending them pictures. I'm sending them my story. And finally I get a hold of the plastic surgeon, transplant surgeon there, personal secretary. I think that's her role title. And I say, hey, look, here, you know, I'm sorry I've been blowing you up, but look, I'm really interested in this. We start talking, and I go up there in January 2014 for testing. They test my blood to make sure no fungus is in there, to make sure I don't have any weird antibodies. Nothing's in there or anything like that. A lot of tests, tissue typing, vein ultrasounds, vein mapping to make sure my blood and my heart will be able to handle new limbs. Everything. I had to go through a mental exam, a psychological test to make sure I can mentally handle waking up with somebody else's arms on me, and not waking up and just completely gnawing my arms off. Everything. I mean, I even had to go to dental to make sure that I didn't have any weird mouth disease, which I do not. So in about August, February, I was approved to be a recipient of a double arm transplant. And on August, there was some more testing I had to do. On August 27th, 2014, I officially got listed for the double arm transplant.
Outstanding.
So it's been about a year and a half. There were some complications. I come to find out that TRICARE nor the VA is going to be able to help me with the actual costs of the surgery, of travel, you know, the flights, the hotel, the food is unfortunately part of it because
TRICARE's not going to take care of it.
No, they're not going to. TRICARE can't take care of anything, any part of the surgery whatsoever, because it is considered experimental by the FDA. is not a common practice. It has not been, what I've been told is it has not been done for the past 7 years. But I've done my own research, and I found arm transplants in the last 7 years. But TRICARE is not able to help me with it. The VA, the only part that they're able to help me with is I'll have to do physical therapy for a while, and I have to take immunosuppressants, what that means is that it's going to lower my immune system. That way my body does not attack this foreign material, i.e. the arms.
So John, real quick,
and they're going to help me with that.
I want to ask you a question. So, are you telling me that the 800 milligrams of Motrin didn't make everything grow back?
No, neither did changing my socks either.
Really?
Dan Coleman.
I seriously thought that was a cure-all.
No, changing socks and Motrin did not cure it.
Oh man, I guess you got a bad batch of Motrin then.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was infected. Hey, TRICARE, I got infected Motrin. Take care of this crap. You know, John, I don't know about that, man. I have a friend that works at TRICARE. I think I might write her about this because it doesn't sound it. I know with every nonprofit, with every hospital, they have their rules and guidelines, but it depends on that one person that you talk to. They know because everything has a loophole. They know what they can take care of. So, go ahead.
Thankfully, I don't actually have to pay for the actual physical surgery, nor do I have to pay for the inpatient side, like staying in the hospital. So here's the thing. This is why I had to start the John Peck Fund. So after the surgery, I will remain inpatient for 1.5 to 3 weeks, depending on my body and recovery. After that, I will be released. And then I have to stay in Boston for 3 to 6 months. When I went to Boston just for a week, the hotel that I'm planning on staying at, just a normal hotel room. No suite, no kitchenette, nothing. It was $2,000 a week. So,
wow.
$2,000 a week times 4, that's $8,000 a month. Times 3 for 3 months, that's $24,000. $24,000 to $48,000 right there, just in a hotel bill.
And this was in Boston?
This is in Boston, man. This is just a plain room, queen size bed.
Hey, dude, they have to overcharge so they can help the Patriots because they can't get to the Super Bowl because flat balls.
Whoa. Hey, I'm a Patriots fan there, just FYI.
Oh, we got a Pats fan.
No, he had to have had a fall somewhere.
Yep, I know. So that was one of the costs that I was going to be incurring. Of course, food is on there because, like I said, I'm not going to be eating at no Ruth Chris, or I don't know if you guys know what a Ruth Chris is, or Morton Steakhouse.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Top-notch
here in Jacksonville.
Okay, so you know what it is. It's probably most likely going to be Subway because I know I'm probably going to gain a little weight from the steroids that I have to take. But so Subway and salads and Trader Joe's kind of meals. And then, okay, so the other part of it is after that initial 3 to 6 months of staying in Boston, I will come back to Virginia and do my physical therapy here. After that, so here's where I start actually really incurring the cost. It's for the first year after surgery, I have to go back up to Boston every 3 months for 1 week, which again means a hotel, a flight, a rental vehicle, and food again. And then after that first year is up, for the following 5 to 6 years, I have to go every 6 months. I have to go back up there for a week again. Another food, another hotel bill, another rental car, another flight. And it's that's where I started incurring costs. And that's why I had to start this fund because like I got the best news in the world, but I had no way of paying for it. And I was planning for backup plan, like plan B was to get a mortgage on my house and start paying, or a loan or something. This is arms. I mean, this is like priority number one for me. I don't care about the house. I don't care about anything else. It's just arms. I mean, I could go live on the street, and as long as I have my meds, I would not care.
So John,
I got my arms, buddy.
So John, I got some questions for you.
Well,
So,
Joel,
you're
before we do questions, why don't we, if you don't mind, John, hang on the line for just a second. We can do a station identification. We can go to commercial, and then we can come back and we can talk straight up about your fund and how somebody can donate. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, everybody, thanks for listening, and here's station identification.
Hi, this is Josh Elliott, X Games Adaptive Monocross Skier. You're listening to Beer 30 with Danny and Joel.
Where the love goes, where the love goes, where the love goes.
And usually at this time we do our power play, but we're going to cut the power play a little bit short because we have a few questions to continue to ask John Peck, quadruple amputee. You can contribute to the John Peck Foundation or funds, and we're going to give you that link. The question that I had was, I know that you're married and you have kids, correct?
No, I am not married.
You are not married. Okay. All right. Hey, I didn't know, so that's the reason why I asked. My thing is, okay, since you have all these injuries, how do you adapt? How do you adapt to like eat, put your clothes on, stuff like that?
Well, like I still have problems with some things. Because of the hip disarticulation, it brings its own problems to the board. Like I did research on how not a combat injured quadruple amputee. I don't know his story. I don't know how he got that way or if he was born that way. I look on YouTube and I find all these videos about, how other quads, not us 5 combat injured guys, put on their shorts, and like I built the exact same thing that he built. Like I said, the hip disarticulation brings its own set of problems. So the shorts I have to kind of have help with, but like, brushing my hair, styling my hair, because right now I got like this lumberjack look going on. Doing that, brush my teeth. I cook for myself. I can't cut things because I only use my left arm with a prosthetic. But man, I can make a meat burger and freaking steak though. I'll tell you what. That's another reason I'm trying to get this arm transplant. Not trying, but I'm getting the arm transplant because I've been wanting to be a chef since I'm 12. Since I was 12, I was like, yep, I want to be a chef. And I've got right now the odds for me to actually complete my goals is, I believe when I figured out, it's the odds of me completing my goals and my dreams is 0.02604% chance of actually completing my dream.
Well, I think with any type of luck, you will complete that dream some way and somehow. Actually, me and Joel were talking about it, how positive a person I am. And I couldn't even imagine being in your shoes at the moment and knowing if I can keep my positivity that Joel loves so much about me. So I got a couple questions here. It says something about you being a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit about the motivational speaker and tell us a little bit about your fund?
Well, the first one I did was actually at Alice Deal Elementary School. Jennifer Fox. Jennifer Griffin is a military correspondent for Fox News. And believe it or not, I know everybody doesn't really like the media, but I love Jennifer. Like, she is no BS type person. She's covered so many stories about me, and she's always there helping me out with everything. I mean, right now she's actually doing a foreword for my a book that I'm having written. And she told me that she has a very young daughter, and she introduced me to her. And her daughter heard about my fund and everything like this and how I needed to raise money. And she's like, Sergeant Peck, could you come to Washington, D.C., and can you tell your story to these elementary school kids? And it was like 3 different classes, and there I was telling my story. And I guess they have this one day where they don't learn anything. They go out into the community and they do, like, one class went to a senior living home and read stories to the seniors there. One class did a bake sale, one class did a car wash, and money that they raised was actually donated to me. I was not expecting it. I spoke to sergeants at Quantico. The last one I did was in Connecticut with Great American Insurance at the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort up there in Uncasville. And I have a personal relationship with the criminal division up there at Great American Insurance, and he's like, dude, we need to get you up here and everything like that. And they've been raising I think they raised like $67,000 for me.
Wow.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
And I was not expecting it. Like, they paid for my flight, and they paid for my room and my meals, and that's all I was expecting. But then this guy, his name is Frank, he's like, hey, here's your speaker's fee. And I was like, what? My speaker's fee? Like, I didn't charge elementary school. I didn't charge Quantico, Marine Corps Base for it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he hands me a check for $5,000, and then he's like, oh yeah, by the way, here's your speaker fee of $5,000.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, we also raised an additional $62,000 for you. And I was like,
that's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. But there's been countless organizations that have come out and that have helped me. And of course, if you go on the site, you can see them all. Like, they're all listed there. And there's, of course, not just organizations that have helped me out, but large groups of people. Like I said, like Semper Fi Fund has helped me out countless times. Independence Fund helped me out. Unstoppable Heroes, they were the recent ones to help me out. They, of course, put me in touch with you guys. And they also, my website before I got this new one, it was horrible. Like, I did it, and I mean, it's really bad when I'm like at my computer trying to type. Like, I literally have to sit there and peck at like every single letter, and it takes me so long to do it. And I went to Grace and I asked her, I was like, hey, can you she told me that, she had somebody help redo their website. And I was like, hey, can you give me their number and everything like that? And like, I need to get mine redone. Come to turn out that Unstoppable Heroes they paid for a full year for my website and everything to keep it up and running. I was like,
wow,
thank you. That's really appreciative.
That is awesome. Well,
yeah,
John, we're starting to run out a little bit of time. We're getting near the end. So if you don't mind, for the listeners and everything, could you tell us where people can donate for you?
All right.
You said I was supposed to mention Unstoppable Heroes, but you did that for me. Thank you. And let's get your website address and let people know where to find you and everything else. And please help donate to him, because I mean, him going to get this transplant might cost him an arm and a leg. So
literally.
Really? You can't say that.
I had to. Us being all military, I thought it'd be okay. I would donate if I could, though, buddy.
No, Beer30 has
there is
already
one
donated.
thing. Oh, Go ahead.
Say what, Joel?
I was just telling John, Beer30 has already donated.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I have to check my email then, because I don't know if I saw. Well, actually, I did see it. Never mind. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But there is one thing I know we're kind of short of time, and I'll try to be quick about this.
Okay.
So for your viewers, though, I would kind of encourage you guys to think about your organ donor status. You guys are not in my donor pool. Like, my donor has to be an hour and a half away from Boston. And so I would like you guys to reconsider your organ donor status. But if you want to go, there's a step further in order to be a face, a skin, an eye, tissue, limb donor. And you have to, unfortunately, sit down and have that talk with your next of kin. And probably the best way is, to put it in your will too, your living will. Because there has been issues where people have told their next of kin their wishes, but then their family said no.
Right.
That does happen a lot, apparently, and the hospital can't do anything about it. So first step is go to the DMV, or I think you can go online, change your organ donor status to, you approve it, then have that talk with your next of kin and put it into a living will. That way there is no argument, and it's a legal binding agreement.
Hey, Danny, you know what's so funny talking about organs? I remember my father, he took me into the DMV, and I think I was like 15 at the time. And they asked him, and they're like, so Mr. Hunt, would you like to be a donor? And he looked at us, literally, my dad, Danny. He literally looked at him and he said, well, if they really need them, then I'll do it. But it's if they really need them. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you talking to this girl like she's in charge of it? I thought it was funny. That's the only reason I brought it up.
I just thought your dad was trying to give you up.
Okay. All right. Well, if I had to sound clip crickets, I'd probably hit the crickets right now.
Yeah, probably.
So, but anyway, so we're getting ready to close up, brother. Running out of time. Thank you so much for coming on. And you got about 10 words or so. What do you want to say before you go? Repeat your GoFund address again so that listeners get it.
Yeah, it's just go to www.johnpeck.fund.org, and you can see the whole story, and the GoFundMe and the site are still up. But believe it or not, I did actually reach my fundraising goal. So it's not like a major, oh my God, I need really, really help right now. But I mean, you can see the story, and for public speaking or anything like that, there's information on there. And if you send me an email, it's going to go to me. There is no PR division. I do not have a manager. I do not have an agent or anything like that, or like some of these other guys have. No, it's literally just me. I mean, the most I have is a trustee, and that's because that's required by law. I mean, the email that's listed on there, that's my personal email. Just don't send me anything weird or perverted or anything like that, please. That would be great.
Me and Danny talked about that yesterday. Danny's upset with this kid, and he's like, I'm going to go to every porn site, gay site, and start putting in his phone number. So if you start getting gay stuff, just blame Danny.
Yeah,
that's how you get revenge on somebody. It's great. You can't do it right away. Not after you get their phone number. You gotta do it. You gotta do 6 months after the incident, or they're gonna know it was you. You gotta be methodical about it or whatever.
But John, thank you once again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it and wish you the best of luck.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you again, John.
Yep, thanks, man.
All right, everybody, that was John Peck, quadruple amputee Marine. That was an inspiration story. So, talking about inspiration stories, we're gonna go on. We're gonna go on commercial, And when we come back, we're going to talk about an inspirational story that literally stole her ring. More details after these messages.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it?
Today's Power Play is brought to you by Tee It Up for the Troops. You can replace divots, but you can't replace freedoms.
This is MBR, saluting those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for their country.
Rock and roll!
Rocking the troops.